Naruto and Sasuke are unofficially nerfed in Boruto, and honestly every time I see it, it just hurts. So let's talk about them, and hopefully I can show you why I think that they are nerfed. Now let's begin with my boy Sasuke and his chakra problems. And here we already have a really bad start. I mean, all we see in Boruto on average is that Sasuke uses his space-time ninjutsu a few times and then he mentions that he starts to run low on chakra. In comparison, and I think that's something we would all agree on, in the end of Shippuden, Sasuke used his Rinnegan like a god. I mean, it was just like 9-Jibaku Tensei out of nowhere. That's pretty strong. And when you compare that to the Sasuke in Boruto, it just feels like day and night. But can we explain that somehow? And I say yes. Maybe at least? Let me explain. What if Sasuke got some kind of chakra boost alongside with his Rinnegan from Hagoromo? Or even a chakra boost from Kabuto? It just may be that Sasuke had some kind of chakra help in Shippuden. And therefore now in Boruto it might be more difficult for Sasuke to use his Rinnegan. Even more, technically you could say that Sasuke is not always at 100%. In Boruto he often traveled between dimensions before going into a fight, so that is definitely not helping him either. It is just really hard to decide if something is really wrong with Sasuke's chakra. So no 100% proof, no decision. But feel free to form your own opinion, because even with those possible explanations, I still think Sasuke in Boruto is not what he's supposed to be. Now let's talk about something else that is also very debatable, and that is Naruto's speed. Now in Boruto, Naruto's speed is very inconsistent. For example, on one hand you have that scene where he stops a train. On the other hand, you then have a fight against Delta, where Naruto's daughter gets thrown into the air and he isn't even fast enough to save her. But I mean, whatever, let's just say that this is fine, since in the manga it looked like Delta attacked immediately, and it wouldn't be fun if Naruto could just blitz everything. But then, and now comes the problem, Kawaki out of nowhere joins the party and saves them. If Naruto is moving at full speed, Kawaki shouldn't be able to do anything. I mean, we have a small comparison for that. I know it's probably not the best example, but still, Kawaki at some point tries to run away from Naruto and he has like no chance against Naruto's speed. So this doesn't make any sense. Unless Naruto is slower than he is supposed to be. Now this whole inconsistency thing goes on also in the debate between Naruto and Sasuke. Now one quick question for you. Who do you think is faster, Naruto or Sasuke? I would say Naruto, and I think there is pretty good evidence for that. In Shippuden there were many moments where Naruto's fast speed was important. For example, when he dodged Ace punch, or when he evaded Madara's jutsu that should be impossible to dodge. And that's why I feel like Naruto is just one of the fastest shinobis ever. And the only reason why Sasuke and Naruto can fight one-on-one is because of Sasuke's Sharingan. But in raw moving speed, Naruto should be faster. But now comes Boruto, and I don't blame anyone that says that Naruto and Sasuke look equally fast in Boruto. Because they are. There are so many fight scenes that they have together and they just turn into those traces of lightning and they are just equally fast. You can't really say anything against that. However, I think that's not good. Now it's maybe a bit of a personal opinion time. I think it would be way more interesting to see them fight in their own styles with their own advantages and therefore have Naruto's superior speed appear from time to time. I think what Boruto does there is they just leave away some of the important aspects about character and their whole individual development in Naruto. They just want to have a fight of two legends that just looks cool. But that just cuts a lot of the interesting stuff, and I think fights this way are way more boring, as if you could see their own things and what they're capable of doing. But maybe that's just a question of opinion. But it's safe to say that Naruto's speed in Boruto is not always what it's supposed to be. Now let's talk about techniques, and this is going to be the fun stuff. So I have prepared a wheel for you and now I'm going to spin it and let's see what we're talking about first. So I have heard many times that Sasuke has mastered his Rinnegan in Boruto. And I mean, yeah, he can travel between dimensions, that's actually impressive. But where did the rest go? We have seen from someone like Nagato how you can actually use a Rinnegan. I mean, look at all of that stuff. And I mean, for example, Sasuke used Bancho Tenin in the fight against Naruto, and this is the opposite of Shinra Tensei. Now, why do I mention this? This is because Shinra Tensei is really strong, and I think it would also be the perfect defense against Ishiki's rods. Just like he goes on to throw them and you just go Shinra Tensei and everything flies away. But of course, we see nothing like that. We only see 3 things from Sasuke's Rinnegan in Boruto: Chibaku Tensei and the 2 space-time ninjutsus. The rest never appears ever again. Now let's stick with him and talk about something else, and that would be Genjutsu. Now Sasuke is a very strong Genjutsu user. One blink of his Rinnegan was enough to put all 9 Bijus under control. But in Boruto, Sasuke never tries any Genjutsu again. Now I know, half of his opponents are gods, and it would probably be really hard to use Genjutsu on an Otsutsuki. I also tried to find out if that is even possible, but I don't think there is a clear answer to that. But still, my point is, there is not even a Genjutsu attempt. Not even against someone like Shinori's fucking children. And again, Sasuke has a really strong Genjutsu, but yeah, I mean, whatever. Let's just never do it again. Now let's switch sides and talk about Naruto. And of course here we have to talk about 6 Path Sage mode. But I don't want to waste much time here because it's confusing as fuck. I don't even really understand it myself. But I should think it wouldn't make any sense if Sasuke gets to keep his Rinnegan and Naruto just loses his power. So it would just be weird if Naruto would lose the access to 6 Path Sage mode. But whatever, again, let's talk about something else that is maybe a bit more clear. Let's talk about the individual chakra portions of the Bijus that Naruto has. And yes, of course he still has them. I hope that was never in question. So I don't really see any reason why he shouldn't use some of the things that are really strong. For example, Boil Release, with which he countered Kaguya's Vacuum Fist. And Kaguya's Vacuum Fist was so strong, it shattered Sasuke's Susanoo. Also, I think Boil Release would be way more difficult to absorb than a normal Rasengan. So I feel like that would be definitely something that you could try to use at some point. But of course, as we all know, Naruto doesn't. I mean, there would also be 6 different Bijus that he maybe could create new jutsus with, but let's not even start to talk about them. Now another small but funny example would be giving away chakra. You maybe remember this. Once Naruto was able to fuel a whole fucking army. Now in Boruto his friend seems to have some chakra problems, and if you could solve that problem with an easy high five, why not do it? After all, Sasuke's space-time ninjutsu is a big win condition, and if Naruto could help him to use it a bit more often, it would just be a huge advantage in any fight. Something about Naruto and Sasuke feels really weird, and they are definitely not as strong as they are supposed to be. For you to better understand my point, let's bring up a graph and look at the learning curve. Now Boruto plays 16 years after Naruto Shippuden ends. This would be a lot of time to train and master their abilities or even learn new things. But in Boruto, we don't even see the same things that we saw 16 years ago, we see even less. In the end of the war, in only a few hours, Naruto and Sasuke came up with so many incredible things. I mean, you can probably see the examples on screen right now. So from this point, you could only dream of what they could be able to do 16 years later. Now I think the only way how I could explain this is because of plot. It was the same thing with Madara and Black Zetsu. It happened because of plot, nobody liked it, and it probably doesn't make any sense. And in Boruto, you have Boruto as the main protagonist, so you want to have him in the spotlight and you want him to play important roles in the fights, so I guess it makes sense to have Sasuke be out of chakra a lot of the times and Naruto just forget the things he was able to do. Now what do you want to say against this? You can't really argue against plot. Well, at least you can say if something is really unrealistic and just dumb as fuck. And I think the plot in Boruto, or at least how they handled some of the things, is just dumb. And it could have been done way better. That is all I had to say. Now feel free to let me know in the comments what you think about the points I brought up. I would really love to hear your opinion about this. Then also don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more, and then I will see you next time.